Yo, ho. Don Mafia, what up? Welcome to yet another edition of Don Mafia Live. And yes, if some of you are watching this during the pre-recorded session, welcome. That's always a good thing. For those of you who are watching this live, welcome. As many of you know, fantasy football is upon us. And if you have already drafted, my sincerest apologies. I believe that is a very large mistake. So for those of you who are smart and have not drafted as of right now, we're going to be going through a mock draft, which I think is going to be very exciting for a lot of us to be able to, start taking notes, start figuring it out, and wanting to end up winning your leagues. That's exactly what we need to have happen for the vast majority of you. I'm not doing it by myself, though. Okay. In fact, I have a very good friend. Well, actually, this is the first day that I've ever met this guy. I'm a huge fan of all of his content. And without further ado, my guy, Joe Miller. Joe,
what's up, my man?
What is going on, man?
Dude, all I know is Buffalo Bills season is about to start. We got another game on Saturday, and I'm about as amped as a human being could possibly be.
You and me both. I'm not going to lie to you. I was actually hoping that Fields would play. It's looking like it may be skeptical at this point. Really? I'm really trying to. Yeah, I heard that he had some type of injury, and say that I was the Bears front office, I probably wouldn't risk sort of putting him out there during the preseason. But I'm really just trying to see what our defensive line can do. Yeah. Right. I had a taste right against Detroit this past week, and I kind of want to see a little bit more. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's there's going to be a lot of tough decisions by McBean, if you will. Are they going to stick with veteran presence that have big cap numbers in Mario Addison and Vernon Butler, or are they going to go with the youth movement? Are they going to let some young guys walk, or are they going to let the older guys walk that are going to basically walk out of this building with their money in hand, right? And then, they might not be guaranteed contracts, but then start plug and play guys for other teams. For me, I'm on the Rousseau, F.A. Obata. Give me all the Harrison Phillips. Give me all the young guys. I saw enough of Mario Addison and Vernon Butler last year to know what I have. Yeah, I saw enough of what I want to see in that Detroit game, at least a little bit, to know that I want to see what they can do going forward. But I'm with you. That Detroit game was a taste. Group played real well. Got folded up in the run. Yeah, got folded up in the run a little bit, but he used his length well in the pass rush. So it's going to be fun, dude. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I definitely understand. And don't get me wrong, I definitely understand that this is a fantasy football live stream at this point. But this is the first time that you and I have ever chatted before. I'm a huge fan of your content. So I've been itching for some Bills conversation. So I'm thinking once we end up getting more people in the stream, we'll sort of make the transition. But I did want to ask you this because I have a somewhat controversial theory. As you know, our defensive line last year being our weakness, right? Now seems, and granted, very limited sample size at this point. We have a lot of youth. It seems like we have a lot more size. There's going to be some casualties on this defensive line. Sure. And I've done research. I've seen several 53-man roster projections. Who would you say is probably going to be the surprise cut off of that, I would say, room, if you will? Mine is Harrison Phillips. So
if I was going to be surprised, it's that guy. Literally, that to me is the surprise, because for a lot of people feel like we're locked into Mario Addison and Vernon Butler because of their cap numbers, but the Bills are $8+ million under the cap. So if they cut those guys, it's not like there's an increase to the cap. It is what it is. So those guys can go, and we're still $8.5 million under. For me, the surprise is literally going to be if there's a second surprise behind Harrison Phillips, it's going to be Darryl Johnson. I can't pick away in my mind, even though he's fifth on the depth chart for, I believe, right defensive end or left defensive end, whichever end he's in. Fifth. So he's basically the last roster depth-wise defensive end on this team. I can't see a scenario where they cut that guy loose just because of who he is on special teams and the element that he does bring defensively if he plays in a backup spot role. Those two for me. Harrison. What about you? If you're not picking Harrison Phillips, who's it for you?
I mean, honestly, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I mean, I would say that probably Daryl Johnson is probably up there, I would say as well. I mean, I see so many rumors about the fact that we'd walk away from Mario Addison. I don't believe that, because as much as I have a lot of faith in our youth at the defensive end position, I feel like we desperately need a bit more veteran leadership aside from Jerry Hughes. I mean, Hughes isn't going anywhere, right?
No,
Hughes
isn't
going
Hughes is
anywhere.
on this football team. Hughes is on this football team.
And as far as Addison was, I mean, as soon as when we picked him up last year, I was very excited about the guy, just because prior to last year, dude ended up getting like 9 sacks average per year for about 4 years straight.
Right.
And then last year, he did end up disappointing me. But then once I realized that he took more snaps and he was on the field way more than he ever was in his entire career, I'm almost wondering if, now that we have some youth to back him up, and now that he's not going to be asked to do as much as he was asked to do last year, if his effectiveness is just going to skyrocket through the roof.
Well, he said that in that presser, right? He said that he doesn't want to play 70, 80%. He wants to play 50%. So we'll see. And obviously we're all anticipating and hopeful that Star Lotulelei is going to make a big difference for him as well. He also talked about some personal stuff, that he wasn't right in the head last year between COVID, also losing his brother who was killed, that he thought that he was going to be better and more football ready for 2020. And he wasn't. He said that, everybody deals with it different. And at the end of the day, it's, how you get over it and how you spend your days and what you're thinking about. And he said his head just wasn't right. So we'll see, right? We'll see effectively where he is or how he ends up being, this season. But I wouldn't be surprised. They're deep at defensive end, very, very deep. And I don't know if you're making a decision, if you're deciding between F.A. Obata and Mario Addison, I just don't know how you keep Mario Addison, and that's just where I'm at.
Me neither. No, I mean, me neither. Honestly, I mean, really with the way that he has been performing in training camp has kept me very optimistic. And I mean, granted, I have like a pretty close friendship with a buddy of mine who's a Panthers YouTuber, as a matter of fact. And I'm not going to lie to you. I actually reached out to him about a week or so ago, and I asked him, I was just like, hey, what do you think about F.A. Obata? And at first, he had to jog his memory of who he was. He was like, who? He did pretty well. So, I mean, my fear is that he's one of the camp sweethearts, right? And I mean, I'm one of those guys that, like, I'm like a giant rain cloud on all of the camp sweethearts, right? I mean, I've been a giant rain cloud on the Christian Wade, like,
were you on Jay Kumaro?
Oh, he's going to be 6th receiver on this team.
So you're not rain clouding Jay Kumaro?
No, not at all. Just because I believe in him.
Gotcha.
And so I think that it's different from Christian Wade. I think that it's different from who is another sweetheart story for us for the past couple of years. So Wade was probably the most that I could say. Duke Williams for sure.
Yep.
But no, I mean, like, I definitely see, I 1000% see Kumaro like securing the 6th spot on the receiver room.
Yeah.
1,000%.
I think it's early. I don't know. I mean, I have a bet with Jay Spencer King on this one. Who's going to be number 6? For me, as much as I love Touchdown Jesus, and we all love Touchdown Jesus, there's just something about the fact that he played in one football game as a wide receiver with 1 catch. He obviously brings an element to special teams, but the Saints picked him up and cut him the next week, and the Bills put him back in the practice squad. I mean, is he a camp body? I love him. I'll start there. I love Jake Kumaro. I'm not saying I don't like him. I love Jake Kumaro. I just don't know what the Bills are going to do from a puzzle piece standpoint. I mean, he's another one. I mean, who's going to pick him up if they cut him? The Packers, right? That's about the only team.
Oh yeah, 1000%, because Aaron Rodgers basically hijacked their front office.
Right.
So at this point, he's making all the decisions right now, whether or not he wants to or not. So if not Kumaro, then it sounds like you're an Isaiah Hodgins guy.
For me, there's something about the reports that you hear out of camp about Isaiah Hodgins and what he comes in with from his pedigree from college. He was slotted to go 3 to 5. He obviously went later than that. He was actually slotted by some mocks to go higher than Gabe Davis. He comes from a big school. He came from the same school that Jordan Poyer came from. For me, it's more about just the Bills not knowing what they have. And he's a young kid, and he's got a different body type than every other wide receiver on this football team. He's several inches taller than everybody. He's not going to be Stephon Diggs, who works his magic in route running right now and gets wide open, or Cole Beasley. He's going to be a guy that's going to be a contested catch up high, like a jump ball guy. So he just brings something. He brings a different element, kind of that James Hardy element that we all thought we were going to get when the Bills drafted James Hardy. He had that one catch, I think, in Jacksonville in the back of the end zone to win a football game. But that's what we expected from him. And I think Isaiah is kind of that guy as well. So if Josh has to throw a bullet to the back of the end zone, 10 feet in the air, Isaiah is your guy. So, but it'll be interesting as well, because he's hurt right now, right? So he's battling an injury. So
with Kamara, I mean, he might just be on the roster exclusively because that Isaiah Hodgins didn't have enough, let's say, of a time frame to audition, which is going to be interesting.
Yep.
In my opinion, I mean, I have heard so many things from my comment sections, from Twitter, etc., that there's like a huge rumor that we would go with 7 on the active roster. I am in the camp that's not going to happen at all.
We'll see. I'm not going to make predictions. We'll find out in a couple of weeks. But the other thing is, as training camp and as preseason develops, that we have to be concerned about is Stevenson. About a lot of people are talking about Marquez Stevenson being cut, put in the practice squad. The issue with that is the Bills are one of the few teams last year that kept a specialist in a punt returner and kick returner help me out. Andre Roberts. Roberts. Most teams have 2 different guys that do punt returns and kick returns. If Marquez Stevenson continues what he did last week in that kick return game late and shows and proves that he can return kicks, if the Bills cut him, there's going to be a kick return hungry team that is probably going to be willing to sign him as a rookie just for that reason, just to.
And so put him on the 53 too. He wouldn't be on the practice squad at that point.
And he showed late in that game against Detroit as well that he can run routes, that the dude can play.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's going to be the Bills are going to be cutting guys that are going to start on other teams this year. A lot of them, and Bills Mafia is going to be heartbroken over some dudes. It's for sure.
Oh yeah. I can definitely foresee that. But I mean, honestly, I think that this is going to be an exciting rest of the preseason. I mean, I'm just ready for week 1. And so I'm not going to lie to you. I am just absolutely ready for week 1.
Same.
There's a lot to be excited about. But Don Mafia, thank you for joining us today for a mock draft. What I'm about to do right here, listen, I am about to put in the comment section / the live chat a link to draft with Joe and I. I see that we have a couple of people that ended up joining in. Joe, you have not joined the draft yet.
I'm working on it right now. Do I have to pick?
Yeah, I'm working on it right now.
I have to pick where I'm going to draft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is it 12? Is it 11 team? No, 12 team.
Yeah, so it's going to be 12. Normally, I would say that's beautiful. And so is that? Oh no, that's not even you. That's not NN8. That's you. Okay, what's up, Magic David? What's going on? Yeah. So I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I put in the link for you to join your spot, and feel free to join. If not, then we'll go on ahead and we'll just run through here within the next couple of minutes. But so Joe and I were actually talking about his experience within fantasy football. You've been playing since 1995.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Okay.
2 seconds. I'm trying to log in. I'm creating an account. So yeah. So verify.
And so what do you normally use? For fantasy football?
So we use CBS Sportsline just because we've used it forever and all of our history is there. But I've used ESPN. I've used all kinds of stuff as far as just different. Is that what you're talking about as far as platforms? You're talking about cheats?
Yeah. And so as far as platforms,
So mainly we've used CBS. Well, before CBS Sportsline, we literally so from 95 to whenever all the electronic stuff caught up, it was USA Today on Monday night. We'd all get together at somebody's house and do the USA Today thing and add up all of our own points. That was back when literally the waiver wire was this. So this is a true story. Priest Holmes lost his mind in a football game, and it's the first person that calls and hit at that time the commissioner's voicemail. So I was the guy that was like, I want Priest Holmes. So like halfway through his football game, I got Priest Holmes because I was the first one. So that's how long ago that was. That was before the waiver wire, if you will.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I will tell you what I would say. And so I've been using.
I'm in, by the way. I'm in. So
okay, perfect. And so I have been using this app. It's called Sleeper.
Yeah.
And I mean, this isn't a brand deal or anything along those lines. Like this is like pure, genuine from my heart. This is my favorite fantasy football app on the face of the planet.
Nice.
So you did mention that you were in 4 leagues. If you haven't chosen a platform yet, I highly recommend trying these guys out at least once.
Yeah.
It is a great experience. Super nice executive team. Very, very good. I absolutely love Sleeper.
Very cool. I'm definitely I'm in it now and checking it out. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, I'm going to give you another 2 or 3 minutes. If anybody wants to join this draft with Joe and I, and looks like we have a couple, 1, 2, 3, 4 people from the audience have joined already. This is your last chance. I'm just going to give you a couple of more minutes to join. If you are down, let's go on ahead and knock this out. And I'm about to start the draft here in about 2 to 3 minutes. So what's your record like in fantasy football, man? Are you like somewhat inconsistent, or would you say that like you're typically, like a 2-3 finisher type of guy? Or
yeah, I'm generally more towards the top as far as that goes. Last year I won in that league I was talking about, and it's a 3-man keeper league. We keep 3 players, not at the same position is what we do, and we've been doing that for a very, very long time. And then I'm more proud about my daughter. So my daughter McKenna, which for those of you that follow me, sorry, I'm typing on Twitter trying to get this thing out there. She literally played. She loves football. She loves the Bills. She won both of her leagues last year. So the very first 2 leagues she was in last year, she won both of them, and I did not help her. A lot of people are like, "Your dad helped you," and I was like, and she's like, "My dad did not help me," which is funny. So, but yeah, I do well. I mean, obviously, you're going to have those runs where you're not doing well. So there was a run probably 4 or 5 years ago where I didn't have a good quarterback. And it just kind of, if you don't have a good quarterback in a keeper league, you're kind of screwed. So, but Josh Allen, I've got Josh Allen as my keeper quarterback, which is, helping me out quite a bit. So,
yeah, I mean, honestly, man, I will say, and so for the past 2 years, I've had Josh Allen on my squad for these past 2 years, and it may have been the best fantasy decision I ever made in my entire life.
Right.
But this year, so now the hype is finally at an all-time high. And he is projected, and so to go in like the 3rd round. And
what?
Me, I cannot, as much as I love Josh Allen, I also don't like losing.
Yeah.
I cannot take a quarterback earlier than the 6th round.
How is Josh Allen the 3rd round? I mean,
he's going in the 3rd round in all fantasy drafts.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
And so for the majority of mock drafts that I've seen, it's Pat Mahomes going first. He's going in this late 2nd, early 3rd, and Josh Allen is following right behind him.
So these are running back leagues, right? They're taking 2 runs. Is it PPR leagues basically?
Yeah. So it's PPR.
It's
PPR starting off. So I mean, we'll see what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, last minute, and then I'm about to go ahead and start this draft. Joe and I have some shows that we need to be on here in a couple of hours ourselves, so we want to make sure that this goes by relatively quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We can still give you a bit of content. So I'm going to give you about 1 more minute to join if you want to. Here's the link one last time if you want to draft with us. And we will go from there. How's the so at Rumblings, your show's once a week?
Yeah. So my Overreaction podcast is recorded live on YouTube Sunday night. So it'll soon be the Overreaction post-game show, right? Live on Sunday nights on the Rumblings multicast network. So Rumblings YouTube, and then it gets dropped as a pod on Monday. And then the Hump Day Hotline with myself and Jay Spence the King is on Wednesday nights as well, tonight at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. So yep.
Very nice. And that's a call-in show?
No, that's actually something else I'm doing. So I am doing a Bills Mafia Time to Shine show on Saturday nights, and that will be. So on Saturday nights pregame, I'm going to blast out the link like you did to me. So you gave me the link to StreamYard. I'm going to put it on all my social media platforms, and people are just going to line up in the green room, and they're going to give me game predictions and stuff like that. It's a kind of a branch of what I did last year for my pregame show. And then Monday nights, I've got the Off Tackle with John Fina show on Monday nights at 9:00. So it'll be me and John Fina just breaking down the game and what we saw, or what he saw, I should say, just having a conversation. So post game.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, I'm busy. I'm going to be busy this year. Crazy.
No, man. I mean, this year, I feel like when it comes down into this season, I mean, I feel like I have like a bunch of live shows going down and stuff. And like one thing I'm probably going to invite you to a couple of times since like we finally ended up meeting live, like on the internet tonight. Normally I do this thing called a fan v fan live stream where like we just have a giant debate with two other YouTubers from the opposing team that we are playing that next week. So I will definitely put you in the lineup for a couple of them.
I'm in.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Like I definitely don't want to put you in the Dolphins because I mean, like one of my Dolphins friends, his name's TD Finstock. Great YouTuber, great dude, huge audience. But I mean, yeah. And so I'll save you from that one. I'll go ahead and I'll put you elsewhere from that. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we are going to go ahead and start this draft. And let's start talking some fantasy football. My dude Elliot is on the clock. Christian McCaffrey. I don't know, man. I don't know, Joe.
It's the right pick just because it's supposed to be the right pick. Oh, here we go. They're flying now. Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook. So this is going to be a running back heavy league, apparently. So. Oh
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not sure about you, but I normally like pick 3 running backs in a row.
It depends on how the board falls, but yeah, I'm generally not a quarterback early guy. But yeah.
Like I mean, like I'm like normally more so of a running back, like heavy running back in the beginning, because when it comes into fantasy football, it's nearly impossible, to find a decent running back off of waivers.
Yeah, but the most frustrating thing in the world is when you're adding and dropping and shuffling quarterbacks based on who they're playing late in the season when you're trying to make the playoffs.
Yes, for sure.
Looking at matchups, and you always guess wrong, right? You always.
Okay, so we got Nick Chubb. Okay, so McCaffrey, Henry, Dalvin Cook, and Chubb are off the board.
Gonzo.
We got, oh my God, how does this guy fall? All right, listen, I'm about to pick this guy just because there is a quarterback question, and I have a feeling that this offense is about to be relying on this man heavily. I've had him for the past 2 years. A fantasy giant, Mr. Kamara.
I knew that's where you're going. I'm taking Saquon Barkley just because he is still, in my opinion, the best running back in the NFL, and he can catch the football. So I know he's injured coming off the ACL, but I would have taken Barkley had I gone earlier. So
they were. Oh, you would have taken Barkley earlier too.
Yeah. Maybe not 1 or 2, but 3, 4, 5. I would have taken Barkley. Yeah.
Okay.
Aaron Jones.
I mean, yeah. And so say that Jordan Love was taking snaps for them this year, then I think Aaron Jones would have been a hell of a lot more valuable. But I mean, he's still a first-round worthy pick.
There's a surprise. Team 9, that auto draft. Travis Kelce off the board.
Travis Kelce off the board, a tight end going into it. Okay.
That's crazy. Tyreek Hill.
Jonathan Taylor.
Tyreek Hill and Austin Eckler. Team 12 is losing. They're not winning this year. I'm just telling
you. And so Mahomes ended up going in the 11. Jonathan Taylor, very, very good point. I heard that his draft stock is plummeted with that most recent injury from that offensive lineman on that team.
Really?
Yeah. I forget the offensive lineman's name that got injured.
Quentin
Nelson. He got injured, I'm pretty sure, with the exact same injury as Carson Wentz. I'm pretty sure like the day after.
Correct.
I've been reading things that his draft stock has plummeted because of that alone.
Yeah, I believe it.
So, I mean, I'm a big fan of Jonathan Taylor. Say that they had like a fully healthy offensive line going into week 1, then, I mean, I would have been fine there. Antonio Gibson. Okay. Solid pick. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's to me, he's not second round level. And the funny thing is like we've already washed most of the running backs at this point. So I'm just going to do this and be the homer guy that does it.
Josh Allen in the second. My guy. Listen, me and you were just talking about this. Yep. And I said Josh Allen is going in the 3rd, and you came off to me like, wow, that's crazy. People are picking a quarterback in the 3rd. Are you out of your mind?
One is early only because of running backs. 3 is late for that guy who's going to average 35 points a game, in my opinion. So
fair enough. Okay, so
keep in mind with that, there's only probably 3 quarterbacks I would take in the first 3 rounds. Everybody else is going to go post like after 5 or 6, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sitting here. I have Kamara, who is probably going to be the focus of the offense of the Saints due to the new quarterback situation. And I am going to pick a running back at this point. I'm between
Wow.
Mixon, Dobbins, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Mixon, his injury history is way too risky for me. I stay away from anybody that has ever had any type of knee injury in any type of fantasy league that I've ever been in my entire life. Dobbins, I mean, it could be like a very high ceiling and very low basement. There's no in between right there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, on the other hand, I'm going to have to go with – oh, no, actually. I am going to go with another running back that has a questionable quarterback room that is getting used to a new system that is likely going to be relied on. They lost Kenny Golladay, and their running game is going to be very interesting. Swift, second one.
That is interesting considering what they haven't had 100-yard. They had one last year, right? 100-yard rusher. So
yeah, and so he's going into his second season. They have Goff as the quarterback. Golladay is gone.
Yeah, new quarterback, new coach. So
yep. So I could imagine that if this dude is healthy going into it, that might be a pretty solid pick. Heisenberg White goes for Mixon. Risky with injury. I mean, I suppose it's boom or bust. DK Metcalf auto pick goes Dalvin Cook Metcalf. Okay. I don't know, man.
Look at all those running backs off the board already. That's crazy.
Dude, I would say with any type of running back situation, it is so difficult to find anybody off of waivers.
The problem that I have is that where I'm at, taking Josh Allen, I'd rather have Josh Allen than Swift and Mixon at this point, right? And J.K.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes like third year in a row for like the best fantasy quarterback. Last year he finished best for fantasy quarterback, didn't he?
And 19.
Yeah.
19 and 20.
And 19 and 20. So third year, I mean, that's always solid. Kyler Murray goes in the third. Calvin Ridley. Okay, new number one for Atlanta. A.J. Brown, I mean, in the third, I mean, he's going to be, I would say, splitting a lot as far as production is concerned with Julio Jones, if Julio Jones can stay healthy. So, and look at, man. This is rough. Okay, so I'm between two right here. This could be somewhat of a reach, but I like this guy because I've had him on my team for the past 2 years. He's a pass catching back. Very, very talented. He's a fantasy monster when it comes down to it. Last year, he had a couple of games where he was out. But as far as continuity is concerned, yes, I am skipping out on Edwards-Helaire, Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, and I'm going with Chris Carson.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yep.
That is surprising to me. I'm actually going to take Justin Jefferson here.
Justin Jefferson you're taking. Okay. Damn.
I don't know if you want to break down for that. For me, there's just an aspect of a guy that really showed out in his rookie season. I would say that the Vikings didn't necessarily miss Diggs a whole lot, and that dude is a little bit more of a better compliment, in my opinion, to Adam Thielen than Diggs was. Diggs and Thielen kind of having similar wide receiver styles that it allowed Justin to do his thing, and I would expect there to be a re-up, if you will, run it back, as they like to say, in 2020. So that Jefferson will be that guy again.
I mean, honestly, I think that the Vikings, I mean, as much as it felt like that we ended up winning that trade, which we did. I mean, we ended up getting amazing, I would say arguably the best route runner in the entire NFL.
Right.
I would say Amari Cooper's up there as far as route running is concerned.
Agreed.
But I mean, Diggs is just absolutely insane. But as far as a replacement for Diggs, I would say I would give kudos to their front office for hitting on the draft with Justin Jefferson, on the draft with that guy.
The Autobots are going to ruin this whole draft, by the way, because they're going to take all the guys. There's a natural flow to a draft. You know what I'm saying? Kind of how things go. And the Autobots generally this guy's the best guy available, and they grab them when the draft is flowing. Running backs or flowing wide receivers or flowing just kind of annoying, but it is what it is.
Oh yeah, no, I 1000% agree. But then again, I mean, I feel like every single fantasy football draft I've ever been in my entire life, there's always that one douchebag that just keeps it on auto draft. So I mean, while it doesn't seem realistic, it is realistic because there's always one or two guys that just keep it on auto draft the entire season when it comes down to it.
Right.
Miles Sanders. Okay, we got Amari Cooper. Zeke Elliott. Diggs. Great pick. Waller, tight end.
Yeah, he's got a good team right now. Nate has a very good draft going at this point. I don't like the Amari Cooper pick as much as some others that are out there, but yeah, he's got a relatively stacked team. It's hard to argue with Diggs. Diggs is going to be his workhorse.
Yeah, he really is.
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb in the 4th, really? And was that a reach?
We'll see. I mean, this is year 2 for him, right?
Yeah.
So he could have a breakout season. Obviously, he didn't have Dak. I mean, I don't know that you can call what he did last year necessarily. Ooh. Kyle Pitts, that's interesting that early.
I mean, go ahead.
I was gonna finish up on CeeDee Lamb. I don't think that you can necessarily judge him by what Andy Dalton was throwing him. His season may have been a lot different with Dak Prescott. What do you want to say on Kyle Pitts real quick? I got a minute 41, so.
See, Pitts, when it comes down to me, man, I am very skeptical of drafting rookies in the first 5 rounds. Right. I really am.
Right. So for me, at this point, with looking at the board and where it's gone, all of the major horses, the 3 of them, tight ends have gone. So for me, if I'm literally really drafting now, my fear is missing out on any consistent tight end that's left because there's only one, and it's this guy. So for me, Mark Andrews is a must pick at this point.
Interesting. Okay, well, and so once we get into a couple of rounds, I'm going to show you my guy here. But I have 3 running backs on the board, so now it's time for me to make the move down to the wide receiver room. And this is the first guy on the board for the wide receiver room. Huge fan of this guy, Chris Godwin.
Yeah, for sure. The tight end thing for me is another one. We talked at the top about being like, weeks 9 through 13 and trying to shuffle a quarterback because you didn't get a good one. Tight end is the same thing. It seems like if you're waffling between Dawson Knox and pick another, a Tyler Higbee, it seems like every week you pick wrong, right? You're looking at their matchups, you're looking at what the defenses did and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm going to go Dawson Knox this week. And he ends up getting a donut. And then the other guy blows up. It's just, for me, that's one of those positions. If you can get a consistent 18 to 21 out of them every week, it means wins.
For sure.
ETN.
For sure. Wow. Dude, these rookies, man, y'all are putting a lot of faith in these rookies this early, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's definitely boom or bust. So since we're on the tight end situation right now,
that's a good pick. Vitz just had a really good pick this late.
Henderson, yeah. I mean, I would say RB1 for that team right now. Huh?
He is the RB1 for that team. Yep.
Shit, yeah, like that's like great value. So we're on the tight end talk right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so no, actually, here's a good question. And so this is a Bills question right now. Obviously, we're very limited in cap right now, and I would say if the 2 biggest needs that the Bills need right now, Tunyon, I love that. I love Tunyon right there. In my opinion, I would say the 2 biggest needs for the Bills is a credible CB2 or maybe even CB depth or a tight end.
Oh, for sure.
What would you go with the limited cap that we have? What's more important to our team right now? Gaskin, I like Gaskin too.
The problem is you got to just assume that the Buffalo Bills they're getting out of Levi Wallace what they want because they keep trucking him out there and they keep letting him do what he does, which is catch the guy that caught the football. He doesn't really challenge passes. He did in the Detroit game on 1 pass, but generally speaking, he does not challenge the passer at all. He just lets the guy catch the ball and then drops him. So he's very much a bend but don't break defense CB2. I would love to see a shutdown corner. I just don't think they're going to come as cheap as a tight end like Zach Ertz is going to. Ertz is going to a tight end, if you can find one, is going to fit in the cap. Whereas if you find a cornerback out there or somebody that's willing to be traded, you're not going to get him for 8.5. He's going to be not one that you would potentially want. It's going to be a true upgrade over Levi Wallace.
Are you a Sherman guy? And so I know that he had that issue with the door in Seattle.
My feeling on Sherman right now is he's Josh Norman from last year. So they go get him, they pay him $6 million or $5 million, and then he basically rides the pine and gets trucked by
Derrick Henry.
By Derrick Henry, yeah.
He just gets stiff armed into like the next dimension.
Yep.
Oh man. Okay. So I'm going to go between either, let me see, tight end. Ooh. Okay. And so I see the guy that I really want coming up, but I'm going to risk it and hope that he's available next round. I'm going to go DJ Moore.
That's a good pick.
I'm going to go DJ Moore, Chris Godwin, DJ Moore with Sam Darnold. Believe it or not, and I mean, I can finally say this because like now I'm not biased anymore. Like,
Right.
I think Darnold is going to do well in Carolina, in my opinion.
I would agree with that statement. I think getting out of New York was the best thing that could have happened to him for sure. Looks like the guy that I wanted is gone. No, he's not. So at this point in time, hopefully he's going to come back not injured. I know he's questionable right now, and you would probably label this a reach just because of where he's listed at 79, number 79 overall. But I'm going to take, oops, wrong button. Hang on a second. What did I just do? Cancel out of that. I got to hit this button. I'm going to take Cortland Sutton.
Cortland Sutton. Okay.
And right now my draft is screwed because I don't have a second running back that I trust. There's literally nobody in this mix that I'm looking at that I feel like can hold, right? So we're at the point where it's like I'm going to fill out the rest of my holes or some perceived holes and hope I can find somebody later that's going to give me some production. I was hoping to get Myles Gaskin, but Team 3, the Autobot, took him in front of me. So,
what made you stay away from Kareem Hunt?
Just these sharing reps with Chubb. I mean, Chubb is I don't want it's tough because they're going to run the ball a lot. And Chubb is clearly a late guy, so Kareem is going to get a lot of that action early. Chubb kind of, excels late as the game goes on. He wears defenses down. But I just don't have the consistent Kareem Hunt. If he was my third running back all day, I'd take him. But as my my RB2, it's just tough. So this it looks like this is the first mock I've done. I have not drafted for a fantasy yet. It looks like this year is going to be another one of those years, which like, was it 5 years ago when it was like the running backs were really dry? There just was not a plethora of running backs out there.
When do you normally do your draft, by the way?
We try to do it if I have my druthers after the last preseason game, so nobody, has a season-ending injury that's on my football team. But yeah, that's preference. But my actual keeper league is this Sunday, so we're actually drafting Sunday.
Yeah, I like normally, bro. 1 year, okay. I'm pretty sure it was like 2 or 3 years ago when Andrew Luck retired.
Yeah.
Right. Like I picked Andrew Luck, I think in like the 5th or the 6th, and like a week later he retired.
Yep.
I was pissed, obviously. I swore to myself. I was just like, every single fantasy draft I ever do from now on is going to be the day before the Thursday night game, week 1.
Right.
Every single draft I ever do will be before the Thursday night game.
That's funny.
I just can't get screwed like that again because there's like so many things. I've heard so many people like, oh yeah, like I've already done my draft. I'm like, okay, dude, best of luck. Rodgers is going in the 6th. Johnson, wide receiver. Deontay. Was he the first Pittsburgh? Was he the first wide receiver from Pittsburgh to go?
Well, Claypool's hurt. So Claypool is injured. And then, Juju Smith-Schuster is being avoided, I think, right now.
Makes sense.
Spending a lot of time dancing.
With the TikTok. Yeah, exactly. Those TikTok dances are probably getting people to stay away.
Yep.
Okay, so Eli for life, Aaron Jones, Antonio Gibson, McLaurin, Kyle Pitts, Russell Wilson, Kareem Hunt.
I would like to thank Eli for life right now for removing Kareem Hunt from me because I was not necessarily
you were about to pick up Kareem Hunt.
No, because I didn't want Javonte Williams taken because I'm going to take Javonte Williams as a rookie at this point in time who's got a lot of good, decent projections, 1,000 yards, at least as per this platform, 240 yards receiving. But yeah, give me Javonte Williams to round out my starting roster offensively. Not bad. I'm not upset about it.
Like that.
I could be better at wide receiver. My wide receivers aren't super strong. I've got a lot of faith in my wide receivers.
Okay. So normally I would go for a third wide receiver in a row. However, I am a huge fan of this guy that I'm about to draft. Tight end, Noah Fant.
Nice. Yeah, it's not bad.
Noah Fant from Denver. There's definitely a lot of question marks when it comes down to the quarterback play, but he had a couple of games last season where he was solid.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that their offense favors Fant. They draw plays exclusively for him.
Right.
I am excited to see him, and there's a couple of late round receivers that I think I can get late that we can make some moves here. Brandon Ayuk, Chase Claypool. Went in the 6th. Well, I mean, that was the Autobot.
Good. Let them have them.
Yeah, let them have them. Don't tempt me here. Don't tempt me when it comes down to it. Okay, so Claypool comes down. All right, my buddy here. What does he have here? Okay, so his team. And so Henderson, great pick. Henry, I love. Hopkins, Ridley, Robert Woods. It's a former Bill there.
Former Bill.
And I feel like that dude just doesn't age.
Mm.
So Robert Woods, I feel like he's been in like the league for a while. Like he's been in his prime for a while. Too.
Right.
And so with him, with Stafford, man, I am a huge advocate for Stafford. I'm not going to lie to you.
It'll be interesting to see what he does. I'm excited to see him as a Ram versus, for sure. As
a Lion?
Yeah. There's just something about that situation.
Yeah.
How in the world, not to give it away, do they have Antonio Brown projected to get 1,000 yards? Really?
Antonio Brown's projected to get 1,000 yards this year?
Really? On this app? Really?
So with and so with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin on the same team, he's going to get 1,000 yards?
Right.
I mean, I'm not seeing that. Samuel. And so there goes Judy and Samuel. I forgot to Chark, I like.
The Autobot team number 3 is not going to be able to field a football team this year, by the way. So
Michael Thomas. Okay, what do I got here? Okay. Ooh, hold on. Devontae Smith, T. Higgins. I'm going to go 2 tight ends in a row. I'm going Mike Gesicki.
I like Gesicki. I'm a little weirded out by tight end, but I like Mike Gesicki, especially when you just said this guy's name. And for me, that's looking for a number 1 wide receiver with a quarterback that hopefully can shake off the nerves about being in the pocket after he had his leg folded back. Give me T. Higgins.
T. Higgins. Okay.
I just got happier about my wide receiver room. So just so you know.
You think that he's going to be number 1 over in Cincy?
Yeah.
Okay. Joe Burrow, man, that poor dude.
Right.
So you would think that they would have invested a bit more in their offensive line this offseason. And I mean, granted, they did a little, but not as much as they should have.
Correct. I can't get over Tyreek Hill in the first round, number 12. That's crazy.
Yeah, neither can I. But I mean, that's the Autobot right there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Waddle. So Eli for life picks Waddle.
Juju Smith-Schuster, Edmonds.
I mean, Waddle is probably kind of risky for me over there too. I honestly would have picked Devontae Parker or Will Fuller before him.
I probably would have taken Will Fuller first too.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Are you more of a money fantasy kind of guy?
Meaning? What do you mean?
It's a money league.
Yeah, I prefer to play. The problem, the thing about money leagues is it keeps everybody invested in the season. So 3 leagues, people by week 5, if they're losing or no longer, if they're 1-4, they're no longer putting lineups in.
Right.
There's your Matthew Stafford.
Stafford, damn it, dude. I was looking for Stafford at that point, but I was hoping Stafford would have fallen to me, but
Mm-hmm.
Here we are. Okay, so quarterback. I can't take that guy.
Tua?
And so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Tom Brady.
I can't bring myself to draft Tom Brady. There's no way that I can. Say that he fell to me in the 15th, maybe maybe I would, but
Right.
Let me see. Ooh. Ooh. No, actually. So I know exactly who I'm about to pick. And so as long as Joe doesn't steal it from me, so I think I know exactly who I'm about to get.
There's some weird projections on this thing. There's some weird projections.
Are the projections different from other apps?
Not that I've super researched. It's just they've got backup running backs that they're projecting to have 1,000 yards. When have you ever heard of a backup running back with 1,000 yards? That's just a little
A backup running back with
So it's AJ Dillon. They got AJ Dillon, running back, rushing attempts, 230 for 1,000 yards with 7 touchdowns.
Maybe they're like talking about total yards. Like maybe they're
no, because it's broken down between rushing and receiving on this thing. So I'm going to take a guy that is going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. It's people have speculated that he might end up being traded. As much as this feels like a homer pick, it's more of a boomer bust pick, in my opinion. And just based off of what I saw from him on Friday night, I'm willing to take a risk on Devin Singletary here.
Singletary
over Zach Moss.
Oh wow! So there's rumors that he might be traded.
Yeah, the Bills are showcasing him, and that they'll keep Moss, Breida, and Antonio Williams on the active roster.
Really interesting. Well, honestly, I have a very unpopular take, Joe.
Okay,
I have a very unpopular take when it comes to the Bills running game.
Yeah,
and I've said this, and I've been roasted about it forever, but I'm dying on this hill. Matt Breida will be our RB1 by week 3.
He'd have some ground to make up because he did not look good in that preseason game. He was running left to right, super apprehensive. Whether he didn't know the playbook or the offensive line wasn't great, but Singletary didn't seem to have any trouble. 5.4 yards per carry.
Yeah.
The problem with Singletary is the Bills' offensive brass and McDermott just don't trust him, which is weird.
No, they don't. Honestly, man, he's just not fast enough. I feel like he's not hitting the holes that the offensive line is making for him quick enough. And granted, it's probably more so an offensive line issue.
Sure.
And they've already admitted, the offensive line in general last year in 2020, that they made such a drastic change to a pass protection type offensive line immediately that when run plays were rarely called, they were a bit rusty. But I love Singletary. I really, really do. But I just don't see him being our guy. I can see Zach Moss stepping in, but I don't know, man. I just got a feeling. A feeling that Breida's about to be the guy.
You might be right. You might be right. It's not outside the realm of possibility. If they want to run the wide zone or the zone on offense, the only zone, people feel like Moss is a zone running back, but I'm not so sure. So.
Yeah. I just picked Will Fuller.
There you go.
And so he's going to be out week 1 because he was putting steroids up his ass for a couple of weeks. He's going to have to see that punishment for a bit, but I think that he's about to be the Dolphins' most effective wide receiver.
Yeah.
And so, which is going to be nice because with Tua, he's like the king of throwing 3 to 5 yard passes. Luckily, Fuller is a great wide receiver when it comes to yards after the catch.
Yep.
I feel like that's a pretty solid pick, and I'll just utilize him heavily once it goes down into week 2 throughout the rest of the season. Robbie Anderson, I like from the bottom.
Projected 1,000 yards on this app too, as well. So
he's projected 1,000. Okay, Joe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Joe is clearly not a fan of the sleeper app and their projections. For the record, okay.
Sorry, I apologize.
No. Honestly, I like this because this doesn't give anybody that's a newbie to fantasy football an advantage because they're just giving them a bunch of BS stats. And the real people that know fantasy football will end up coming out victorious.
That's funny.
So that's what I like. Tannehill, I don't know why. Something about Tannehill just infuriates me, man.
It's his smug smile when things are going well and how much he pouts and whines. It's very Tom Brady-esque.
Yeah, I think that. I'm not sure whether or not but I'm notorious for making pregame videos of saying that the Bills are about to annihilate, murder, destroy, wipe their ass with the opponent. And obviously I get a lot of hate from the opposing fan base.
Yeah.
But the Titans, man, I was getting verbally abused for 2 weeks after that game.
Right.
I can't tell you how many comments I wrote. It was, this aged well. First off,
for sure.
Be a bit more creative with your insults after me. But it's with Tannehill and his smug ass statement after he won the game. He was just yeah, we just had something to prove. Everyone was mad at us, so we were pissed off, man.
Yep.
We just went into it. And
Tom
Brady.
Vince got auto drafted. Tom Brady.
Oh, he's auto. He left. My dude. Landry. So he goes Landry as Jerry, Judy, Samuel.
I like that pick. That's actually who I was going to come back with if he was still there. I was going to take Landry next. So
Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp. What you got, Elliot? Oh man, he's definitely putting in some research here.
There's your AJ Dillon 1,000-yard rusher this season.
So there's still like some pretty solid backs here. Zach Moss, Heisenberg White went with him.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly who I was eyeing. Antonio Brown. All right, this is a bit of a reach right here, but this is the number 1 receiver for the New York Jets.
Yeah, I was looking at him. I was literally between him and the guy that I think I'm about to take, just because So, and then you've got to wonder, man, Mecole Hardman from Kansas City expected to get 1,000 yards this season, like on this app, which is
really
he's way down at 134, which is crazy.
Okay, so sounds like all right. So sounds like that everybody on this app is just. And so, guaranteed 1,000 yards.
Brandon Cooks with Tyrod Taylor throwing him the football. I mean, they're
is 1,000 yards.
1,000 yards is what they're saying. But I mean, maybe they're assuming that Deshaun Watson is going to come back and play football this year.
What's the deal? What's the deal with Watson? So I thought that I ended up seeing like some news or whatever, like something about his court case, and
it's about to go bad for him. I think they're about to start doing criminal charges against him. So the last thing I saw is they're going to start charging him with, like they were talking about charging him with human trafficking, which sidebar, I don't like. So what they've done is they've now taken it to where if you get caught, which used to be what was the term for it? If you're propositioning a prostitute, it's now a sex trafficking crime. I'm going to take Chenault from Jacksonville. In that spot right there. I just, for me, I'm not a huge fan of Trevor Lawrence. I don't have a huge amount of faith in him, but they're going to need a guy. And that guy I think is coming into his own this year.
Yo, that's a hot take that you just mentioned on this live.
Yeah.
And so you're not a fan of Trevor Lawrence?
No, I don't see what everybody else sees. And I've been outspoken in my life about rookie quarterbacks. So Mariota and Winston and guys like that, and even Darnold and guys they thought was going to be, people thought, Manziel, you name it. And I've just never, and I'm a guy, by the way, who did not want Josh Allen. When the Bills picked Josh Allen, I wanted Josh Rosen. I actually
me too, Joe. I swear to God, me too, bro.
I wanted them to wait and take Josh Rosen. When they moved up, I knew they were taking Josh Allen. So I was wrong on that pick. But generally speaking, I'm pretty close to being right on quarterbacks. I just don't know that Trevor. We'll see. I could be totally wrong, and that's just my opinion. And my opinion it means nothing. So
no, yeah, honestly, anybody who analyzes football, whether or not that you get paid millions to do it a year, or you're like you and me,
right?
Who just do it independently. Yep. No one knows anything, man. It's just all speculation. It's just all based off of statistics, etc. But no, it's funny you say that because I was a huge Josh Rosen guy.
Yeah.
Thank God I was wrong.
Right.
Thank God I was wrong.
He just got cut yesterday, I think. Josh Rosen did.
Dude, I know. It is terrible. But since we're on this rookie quarterback situation, who do you think is the best quarterback that came out of this draft? Who is going to have the best career?
It's as much as I didn't want to believe it either, it's probably going to be Justin Fields.
Me too. So
that's my thought. And then, we'll see after that. The Jets kid could look good. Zach Wilson, right? In the Jets. And then it's Mac Jones in New England. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Mac Jones looked good. He looked very Tom Brady-esque on some of his passes, which was a little scary. So yeah.
And no, he really did. Honestly too, man, so many people they tried saying that Trey Lance was the next Josh Allen. There's not going to be a next Josh Allen, man.
Never.
There's not. There will never be another Josh Allen.
Especially if what there is. Go ahead, sorry.
And so Josh Allen legitimately defied all odds.
Yep.
He fixed accuracy. I can think of a quarterback that came out of college that was that inaccurate that came back and went into their third year and finished top 5 in just the completion percentage and then just ended up finishing second in MVP.
Well, he
is an anomaly.
He's a piece of clay. You're in golf Mecca. Do you play a lot of golf?
I do, my friend.
So golf is that thing where, you know, when you're having a problem and you're baby fading the ball or you're slicing the ball, it's like, well, I'm not bringing my top hand over enough. I got to make sure I get my top hand over. I'm clearing my hands at the bottom. So then you think about that in your next swing. In the next swing, your elbow's up, which is effing that up because you can't think of it. And then it's like, well, I got to keep my elbow in, and then your backswing's too deep. It's like it's in quarterbacking for Josh Allen is similar. It's like he somehow can take a week, work on something that's missing, and still keep all of his composure and all the other stuff that he's worked on. Whereas the rest of us idiots, like, you know, I got to open my hips, and once we open our hips, then like we do something else wrong, and he's just not that guy. So I'm going to break form, and I'm going to take the number one because scoring points is what fantasy football is all about, and I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense right here, and I'm going to break form, and just because they're there and nobody's taken a defense yet, so I'll be that guy. Early,
Joe.
We got 5 rounds left, 6 rounds left. I don't know. I don't think it's early.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you're right. Okay. So looking at my team right now, I'm pretty good with running back. Let me check and see if there's any running backs here. Damian Harris, I hate taking running backs from New England because they take a running back by committee to an extreme level. An extreme level.
With you.
So with that being said, I am going to go with a guy who is going to be mostly carried by his running game, but he's a solid game manager. He'll probably throw a couple of passes to one of his running backs for a touchdown. Baker Mayfield. I'm taking Baker in the 10th.
Boomer bust pick right there. Baker
Boomer bust, exactly.
Boomer bust. So what 1,000-yard running backs are left?
Yeah, 1,000. Yo, who knows, man? Like, honestly, let's get this running back situation that we have right here. No, yeah, there's absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, never mind. I'm not going to tell you who I'm about to do.
Well, everybody can see your screen. They can see who you're scrolling through, at least position-wise.
Oh, you're right. But I have an idea of who I might take super late. Curtis Samuel. Heisenberg White in the 10th. I think that's a pretty high value pick. That's a wide receiver too out of Washington. Yeah, which, by the way, man, I am definitely going to be there for week 3. I know you're in Buffalo, but I will 1,000% be there for week 3.
Cool. John Fina might be in town that day too, which would be sweet. Okay. So, yep. This season's about to be off the hook as far as just Bills Mafia in town. It's going to be crazy.
Beasley went in the 10th. I am upset.
I love that pick. I don't like what they haven't projected. They haven't projected at 720, I think was what this app said. I think they're going to get Beasley his 1,000 yards.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Out of anybody that is given 1,000 yards in this app and you don't have the audacity to give Beasley 1,000 yards, where are you at? Okay, Baker Mayfield was my previous pick. What do I want here? Running back? No. Quarterback, wide receiver. I feel like this guy's about to have a solid second year. I think he's a sleeper. With Las Vegas, Henry Ruggs.
It's not bad. It's not a bad pick. I'm a Derek Carr fan, which is not a popular opinion either.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, I am. So I'm torn between 2 tight ends, and the reason is because I absolutely loved Evan Ingram when Eli was the quarterback, but as soon as Daniel Jones came in, his stock just fell through the floor. Like Daniel wouldn't throw him the football. But I also love the kid out in LA, the Chargers quarterback. And I think that he's going to rely on his tight end, who is very good, Tyler Higbee. So I'm going to choose Herbert over Daniel Jones and take Higbee here.
Dude, I am a huge Herbert fan.
Me too.
I am a huge Herbert fan. I don't want to toot my own horn, but last year I did say that I thought that Herbert would be one of the best quarterbacks to come out of that draft last year.
Nice. Good call.
I saw Herbert. I just had a feeling that Herbert was going to have a better career than Burrow. Right. And granted, it's early. And for all I know, if they give Burrow a solid offensive line, he may be the guy that he was at LSU. Mm-hmm. But with what Herbert was able to do with the team that he had last year, I mean,
yeah, for sure.
I think the future is bright with the Chargers.
Absolutely.
The Miami Dolphins defense.
Is that dude a Dolphin fan? Homer pick. It's got to be a Homer pick. Come on. The Dolphins.
Yeah, so I'm looking at his And so I'm looking at his profile picture. He's definitely a definitely a Dolphins fan for sure. Mike Williams, Gallup. We got Elijah Moore.
Rams defense.
Mooney, the Rams defense, the Niners defense, the Bills defense hasn't gone yet. Interesting. Nobody understands like how we were missing the one key that made us a top 5 defense. Star Lutulele.
It'll be interesting to see what effect he has. I'm on record as saying if Star Lutulele, or however you pronounced it, I don't know what the actual pronunciation is. If a dude that plays 48% of the snaps takes your team from 3 in the NFL, nice pick there, Pinecone, takes your team from 3 in the NFL to 23 the next season, and when he comes back, you go from whatever the Bills ended in 20, 20 in the mid rounds back to a 3, then he's probably the greatest defensive tackle that's ever played football. So we'll see. We'll see what his effect is. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what his effect is. So,
and so it's crazy, man, because honestly, man, I was like a huge star.
This guy's gonna take. He's gonna take Tua right here. Take Tua. Take Tua.
You think so?
Just do it.
Is he about to take Tua?
I don't know. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
Is he about to take Tua? No. I was like a huge, I would say star hater for a while, but then I didn't realize how much a defense needs a true one-tech defensive tackle.
Well, this one does. It's predicated on it for sure. And it'll be interesting to see if he comes back and he comes back and plays the way we hope. It'll be interesting to see what he does to keep the linebackers clean, to keep Edmonds clean, to keep Milano clean, because they were clearly better in 19 than they were in 20 as well. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. In 2020, when you have offensive linemen going into the second level, stopping Edmonds from doing what he does best.
Right.
No wonder we were getting eaten up by tight ends all year.
Yeah. Well,
we were getting eaten up by tight ends.
The Bills have traditionally gotten eaten up by tight ends their whole entire existence, but that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah.
I think he left because we made fun of him for being a homer. Did he split?
No. I think he's probably just going to pick Tua at the final hour, I think. McCall Hardman. Okay.
Oh, did he pick?
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Very good.
All right, Joe. What you got,
I'm going to be that guy because fantasy football is about scoring points, and you want guys that are going to consistently bring you points. And at this point in the draft, this is the only pick left to take.
Justin Tucker. Okay.
And getting him as late as I just did is pretty incredible.
Interesting. Okay, so I have gone this entire draft without picking a homer pick whatsoever.
True.
But I have a feeling that I'm going to go on ahead and pick the red zone wide receiver I feel like is going to lead the league in overall touchdown receptions, Gabriel Davis.
Nice. Emmanuel Sanders has not gone yet either.
Sanders is not gone either. I'm going to use the restroom real fast.
Yeah. So apparently this is now the Joe Miller show.
Take it over.
Heisenberg, what you got? I like that Gabe Davis pick there for Dan, but it'll be interesting to see Edwards and then Justin Fields late by the Autobot. No, that's Vitz. That's Dan's friend who is now on Auto Draft. What you got, Elliot? Tyler Bass. Here we go on the kickers. Let's see a run on the kickers. It is beyond time, in my opinion, for good kickers to go. What's going on in the chat? I can't. Oh, there's Evan Ingram. The Browns defense. If he's a tight end or touchdown fins, we need Zach Ertz. Oh, sorry. I was just reading the chat there. Sorry, everybody. Matt Ryan. That's an interesting pick. And Dan is on the clock. Hopefully he'll get back before he gets auto snatched. I wonder who Dan's going to take at this point. He's going to need another quarterback soon. He's got his tight ends locked up. You're on the clock there, boss.
Oh, nice. Beautiful. Okay, so Bucker went.
You need kicker and a defense.
I do. So I have. Okay, so now it's defense time. Dude, how is this team still on the board? The Colts defense.
That's actually a really good pick. That is a really, really good pick.
I have no idea how they're still on the board, but I'm going to go ahead and grab them. And honestly, looking back, since I'm pretty sure, Joe, that you ended up taking the first defense off of the board.
I did.
I'm surprised you didn't go with Washington. Yeah. I feel like they're about to be the best defense in the league from a secondary perspective.
Chase Young, right? I mean, he's yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's just hard when you see what the Buccaneers did and the fact that they returned all 22 guys. So I'm guessing Emmanuel Sanders did go because he's not to be found on the board. So he's up there somewhere.
Sanders is up there.
I did not. I searched his name and he did not come up. So
I'm sure that
somebody took him somewhere. So good on you guys. I'm just kind of filling stuff in now. I already got a wide receiver from that team. What do I got? I got a minute left. I got 2 tight ends already. Got my kicker, got my defense. I need to back up one of these guys. I have rolled with Josh Allen as my QB1 for the last 2 years. 2 years ago, I won our championship. Last year, I came in second. And my backup QB in both years was this guy. So, you know what? Just for luck's sake, I'm going to take Derek Carr.
Derek Carr. Okay. Well, Mr. Eli for life 1. What you got? The Dolphins fan. What you got? Okay, so you went Dolphins defense, Harden in the past 2. He's definitely going for Tua. When was the last time a quarterback went? In the last round, I suppose.
Say that again.
Never mind. Was asking whether or not when was the last time a quarterback went, but you legitimately just picked a quarterback.
Before. I did indeed. And I picked a quarterback who plays for a pirate team, and when he looked through his helmet, it looks like he's wearing mascara. So he's got those eyes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I can't find any. Yeah, wow. Somebody did pick Sanders, but I just can't find him anywhere. Sanders, the kicker from Miami. Okay. And so, hey, one thing I can give for the Miami Dolphins fan is that he saved all of his homer picks to the end.
To the end.
That's what I can say. I typically only go a couple of homer picks. Normally, I'm a Josh Allen guy, but I don't know if I could pick up Josh Allen in the second. Maybe the third. If Josh Allen falls me in the third, I'll take him.
What running back or wide receiver is going to get you 30 points every week?
You're right. Dude, Joe, you're killing me, man.
And that's right. And like I said, I wouldn't do that with everybody. There's only 3, maybe 3. It's Mahomes or Allen, and I don't know about maybe Aaron Rodgers before 5. If I could not get one of those 3 guys before 5, I would wait until, just like you did. I'd wait till late. But a guy that's going to get you.
What I will say too, it's I'm looking at all the running backs taken after Allen that went in the third. I could have easily picked Allen in the second, and then I still could have gotten Chris Carson.
Yep.
And I could have gotten Henderson in the fourth as well.
Right.
So, dude, I don't know, man. I might be that guy. And so I might be that guy.
Yeah, the biggest problem. So I've got a horse at running back. I've got a horse at quarterback. My wide receiver 1 is boomer bust guy. He's either going to hit a sophomore slump or he's going to come out and hopefully be as good as he was in year 1, maybe a little better. Andrews is a consistent tight end. Cortland Sutton, if he can stay healthy, he's going to be their number 1 guy. My wide receiver room is not super strong. I'm not afraid to admit it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to beat people with my defense and my kicker, though, and my quarterback. Because everybody else is going to average way less in both those positions. Or at least most people will.
Yeah. So it looks like Jonnu Smith went super late.
Yeah, I was going to take him earlier, and he's a Patriot. I can't do it. I can't take any Patriots. It's hard for me to take Patriots, Jets, or Dolphins players. It's really hard for me.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's tough. Especially when it comes down to Patriots players, too, because their offense is so – you could have somebody that runs and so with the Patriots, man, they will legitimately go ahead.
Nate gets auto-botted for T.Y. Hilton and then gets the Ravens defense. That's not bad to be auto-botted that way.
Not bad at all. What does Eli have? Sanders. Okay, so I'm guessing another Dolphins pick. Let me see if I have anybody here. No, maybe not. Maybe not.
So are you a carry 1 defense and then pick up a second defense on their bye week, and same thing with kicker, and fill out your skill positions, or do you take a backup kicker and defense?
I am a guy that goes for backups. So say, for example, that my defense is on a bye, then what I'll do is I'll pick the defense off waivers who is playing the worst offense on the league.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, I'll just pick the defense that's playing like the worst offense that's on the board.
Just as I said, I have a hard time taking any other teams in the AFC East players. I am literally going to take the Patriots defense at this point because I think they did a lot of good things and they're going to be pretty stout, especially with Matthew Judon on that football team. So kicker, I'm going to wait though.
Yeah. So this guy, I'm going Colts 2 picks in a row. I think Blankenship. I'm a Georgia Bulldogs fan.
Oh, nice.
So I am a huge Rodrigo Blankenship fan. I think that his second year, he's going to sort of recover from those couple of kicks that he missed during the playoff game against the Bills this past year. So I think that he's going to be pretty solid for us, for the team. Elliott, so he goes with Hamler. Not bad. And the Browns defense, I didn't even comment on that beforehand. It's pretty solid. Solid pass rush. So with Myles Garrett, can never go wrong with that. You'll probably get a couple of sacks there, some solid points.
Yeah, Myles Garrett's a freaking fantastic football player. He's a havoc wreaker on that defensive line.
Fitzmagic in the 15th round. I think Fitzmagic is going to do wonders in the NFC this year, to be honest with you.
When he plays.
When he plays, exactly.
He's going to get benched.
$20 super chat. And so thanks for dropping one of these. Play in a lot of big drafts. Fun to hear from different perspectives.
Nice.
Flossin, my guy, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate the love. Okay. So
haven't seen in a while there, Flossin. It's been a minute. I think I haven't seen it since last season. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, hey man, so Flossin's my guy.
That's good.
I don't know. And I go, why? I mean, honestly, I have 6 wide receivers. I have a couple of tight ends. I mean, honestly, let me see. So I have a kicker, I have defense, I have a shit ton of receivers, a couple tight ends, a QB. I mean, you know what? No, never mind. I'm going Jared Cook. That's trade bait. That's trade bait for me.
Somebody has to run the football down in Houston, and who knows who it's going to be. So just off of projections, I'm going to round out my roster with one more running back. I'm going to take Philip Lindsay, who I liked in Denver a lot. He always ran with a motor. He attacked the offensive line, or the defensive line, which is something I like about Antonio Williams. But I'll take him to round out my roster.
Interesting.
Are there any Dolphins players left?
Yeah, there's.
Tua hasn't gone, has he? This is a perfect time. You got to do it. You got to do it, bro.
Sorry about that. That was Best Buy.
That called you?
Yeah, dude. They're supposed to hang a few TVs in my house, and so I just ended up closing at my house about a month ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude, it's super cool. And I'm actually building a bar in my garage.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's a dive bar in my garage. I'm super excited about it. So they're gonna be hanging a couple of TVs in my right in my garage. I'm laying down vinyl plank and stuff like that. I'm laying this cool brick wallpaper. It's gonna be sick, man. It's gonna be sick. It's going to be the NFL Sunday ticket night to go. By the way, are you an NFL Sunday ticket kind of guy?
I was for 13 years in Columbus, Ohio, when I lived there, and I still have it living in Buffalo. So yes.
Do you? Okay. Well, I was about to say, and then worst case scenario for everybody watching this live or for anybody watching this pre-recorded or after recorded, you get the NFL Sunday ticket on a massive discount. Mm-hmm. If you know somebody that is in school that is a college student and has a college email, you'll get it for $140 for the entire year.
Yep.
Straight up. So,
and if you're not
have any nieces, nephews, friends, brothers, sisters, ask for their email address and you can get it for $150 for the entire year.
And if you're not on DirecTV, if you call them and sign up and move from whoever you're on, they'll give it to you for free.
Really?
Yes, for free. That's it.
Dude, that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the fantasy mock draft. I'm planning on doing another one of these next Wednesday as well. I'm going to be doing one of these every Wednesday until week 1, obviously. So
Nice.
say that you want to join this live, then definitely show up. Joe is always invited. And so I'm probably going to have a couple more people on here next week as well. Joe, thank you so much for joining us today. It was definitely always it's definitely always a blast. And you and I have a feeling that we'll definitely be collabing a bit more in the future.
I was literally just going to say that. Yeah, let's connect. Yeah, too super fun. So
yeah, for sure, man. All right. Well, Dom Mafia, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another edition of Dom Mafia Live. And we'll see you next time.
Go Bills.